So today is actually day 3 of all of the principles that my mentors have helped me implement in order to grow my business from 0 to over 3 million as I am recording this video right now. And today is actually one of my personal favorite topics to talk about. And just this morning, I had a student ask me the question, Laurel, are there certain characteristics of super successful online marketers? And can you do a training, like kind of walking people through, what is their confidence level? Do they use certain colors? Do their videos look a certain way? And so in this video, hopefully I am going to answer that question in a more in-depth way than just saying, hey, everyone is different and people have certain preferences. I wanted to give you guys a much deeper answer because there are certain things and characteristics, let's just say characteristics of people who tend to be more successful in the online marketing space. But this conversation is going to be very fluid. But one of the principles that we first have to understand is FIP, F-I-P. And this is something that I learned from Nick Peterson. You guys are going to hear me mention that name. He has been my mentor for almost 5 years now. And this is a concept that I learned from him. And so here's one of the major, and I always hate to say mistakes, because to me, I don't think that anyone ever does anything wrong, because you just do you, right? There are better ways that we can do things. And so I think what a lot of people do in the very beginning, whenever they are building their business or choosing who they're going to work with, one of the things that they do is they try to set their purpose first. Meaning they're like, well, I want to help so-and-so, and I want to change the way that this type of person does something, right? Let me actually tell you guys a little story about whenever I first started trying to find people who I wanted to do Facebook ads for, okay? And so whenever I first started, I still wasn't completely sure that this was going to be a business that would actually be viable, right? For those of you guys who don't know, I worked in television. I started working in television in 2002. So I was a 9-to-5er. I was someone who worked a full-time job. And so whenever I met my wife, she wanted to start a t-shirt shop, which led us to a Damon John workshop. And they asked about who's doing your Facebook ads. And I said, oh, that's me, because I've been doing them for, CBS for years. And he's like, why are we talking about t-shirts? We should be talking about your Facebook ad agency. And I'm like, what? I didn't even know what that was, right? And he told me about how much money I could make. And I was like, nah, there's no way, bruh. That sounds way too unrealistic. And by the way, he was telling me that I could make as much as like $10,000 a month working from home doing this, what I was already doing, as not even a full-time job. It was just kind of something that they tacked on to my responsibilities, right? And I didn't believe him. I was like, there's no way. I'm like, I'm only making X amount at CBS. Like, what the hell am I doing with my life, right? But I didn't really believe him. And so that story is important because as I was starting the online journey, I had a lot of skepticism because I was a 9-to-5er. I didn't know what a webinar was. I didn't know all of these online marketing techniques. I just knew that I had been doing advertising for almost 20 years. And so I knew I had a skill, but I didn't believe the magic internet money. And that's super important because what we're going to talk about today is going to play into that. Okay. So every single day, I started going live doing what I knew best, which was creating content and putting it out there, right? Because whether we're talking about paid ads or free content, they're the same to me. It's all advertising, right? Organic content is free advertising. And so I look at content and ads the exact same way. So I knew that I knew how to do content really, really well. And so every single day I went live, and my first thought was, I am going to change the lives of local brick and mortar businesses in Phoenix, particularly pizza parlors. Like if you go and look at Laurel Portier pizza strategy, you will see one of my very first VSLs, and it was directed at pizza parlors. That was my purpose, right? I was going to work with these people. But here's the thing. as I started going live every single day, I started attracting other type of local brick and mortar businesses. I signed on a whole bunch of local brick and mortar businesses. I worked with them. I enjoyed it. And then again, I'm still going live every single day, teaching this one tactic, which is the $5 ads, right? I started with just one tactic, a $5 video ad, and I was teaching it to, all of these brick and mortar businesses. And then one day someone said, hey, I run a webinar funnel. Will that work for me? I was like, my first thought was, what the heck is a webinar funnel? I have no idea what a webinar funnel is. And so I literally just Googled it and I was like, I don't know, but we can try it. And so I asked that person, hey, can we get on Zoom and I'll help you create the ad and we'll launch it and we'll just see what happens. And then that started happening more and more. And fast forward now 6 years, right? My business is actually about to be 7 years old. And so think about that. My business is about to be 7 years old. A lot of you guys say, oh, it happened for Laurel really fast. 7 years. I'm 7 years into this right now. And so 7 years of figuring things out, but 7 years of doing the topic, the principle that we're going to talk about today, FIP, frequency, intensity, purpose. Okay. Now you're probably wondering, how does this all connect? Well, here's how this all connects. Okay. Frequency, intensity, purpose. And this is something, again, that I got from my mentor, Nick Peterson. Frequency, when you are just starting out, you just need to put out the volume. Now, through putting out the volume, what's going to happen? You're going to start to figure out things that only you can bring to the table. Let's just say that, right? Like whenever I first started, Amy Porterfield, Marie Forleo, Kat Howell, Rachel Peterson, these were some of the big names in marketing, right? Very beautiful, well put together women. And here I am, most of the time, no makeup, rolling out of bed, just, t-shirt, jeans kind of gal. And I found my audience. And so there's going to be people who are going to resonate with you more so than others. I resonated with a bunch of people who didn't want to build these big companies. They were, regular looking people like me. They didn't want to put on the facade of, the makeup and the hair and this all lifestyle kind of thing, because like at the time, bro marketers, like that lifestyle marketing was kind of huge. And a lot of people resonated with that. Right. And so circling back to the question is, are there certain characteristics of the more successful people than the people who tend to not make it online? The number one thing that I want you guys to take away is that the most successful people understand frequency. And a lot of you guys think your competitors are only doing 2 to 3 times the work that you're doing. Actually, they're doing probably more like 20 to 30. And this is something that is super, super important, because the more that you put things out in frequency, you're going to find your intensity. Your intensity is going to be all of the little quirks that make up you, right? My intensity is my own style of doing videos. You guys know I have a formula that's called the power content formula. It's a headline, promise of value. And that's kind of been what I've developed over years of doing this over and over again. I actually got that formula from writing copy for television. And so that became my intensity. My intensity became the way that I showed up online, just wearing t-shirts and just bedhead. And it just became like all of my little quirkiness. And so a lot of times people ask me, Laurel, well, here's your power content formula. What if I went off and did this? I'm like, if you understand and you have mastered content, you're going to be able to develop your own intensity for implementing my strategy. But a lot of you guys are trying to formulate your own version of it before you've mastered it. Now, the first thing you have to master is frequency. Are you doing enough in order to get the result that you want? If you don't, you need to do the reps. You need to do more frequency. But intensity is what comes out of the work that you've put in when you've done enough. Okay. And so then again, we're going to circle back that story that I told you guys about the webinar funnels and all of that. I found my purpose to work with a lot of you guys who are in the online marketing space, in the coaching space, consultant space, because of my frequency, intensity, and I found my purpose through frequency and intensity when more of you guys started reaching out for help. And I was able to start helping people instead of, remember, whenever I first started, my purpose was to help these brick and mortar businesses with $5 ads. And I still do that. But my main purpose here, and I hope that you guys understand this, is I'm helping you guys who are just starting out, or even you are making several thousand, it doesn't matter. My purpose is ensuring that you guys can have a viable business for years to come by using online. That has become my purpose, right? I have helped so many of you guys go from struggling working a 9-to-5 job and having a side hustle to a lot of you guys were able to actually quit your job because of the stuff that you've learned here. That is how I found my purpose was, but remember when I first started, my purpose was something completely different. And so if you understand all of these things, right, you're going to, and you have to be consistent. There's no shortcut. I know there's a lot of people trying to sell you all of these shortcuts, but guys, again, 7 years into this, I've made a little bit over 3 million now. And my business continues to grow every single month. Every single month we make a little bit more than we did last month. The floor keeps raising. And it's only because I understand this one principle: frequency, intensity, and purpose. A lot of people are always shocked that I still do 100 messenger conversations a week. Like, how many of you guys are really, like, let me know below. Are you surprised that I still have 100 messenger conversations a week? That has been the lifeblood of my business. So why would I stop doing that? But that's through frequency, right? I'm able to resonate with a lot of you guys through this content. I'm doing this video right now based on what you guys told me. And so I think a lot of you guys need to just move forward, because what are the characteristics that make up a successful online marketer versus everyone else is frequency. It's literally frequency, because there is no, like, if you say this, right, there's no one type of music, right? It's all preference, right? No one cares about, I'm wearing a black shirt right now. Some of you guys are gonna be like, hey, she likes to wear black. Cool, I like to wear black, and you're gonna resonate with me. Some of you guys are gonna be like, oh, she's just sitting in her house right now. I don't have a big fancy office, blah, 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 right? You might resonate with me, right? You might resonate with me because I don't know, I've got swamp hair. I don't know, maybe. but you see what I'm trying to say? Like, there's no one type of country singer, right? Everyone resonates with different country singers. And so there's no one type of characteristic, but if there's a thing, an action, I think it's more actionable. Like that, I'm actually talking myself through this right now. I think the action that's what separates everyone, is the action. And so if you think about that, it's the action that separates, because we all look different. We all sound different. We all have different confidence levels. Like, someone who has a stutter, other people who have stutter is going to resonate with that person. So I think you just have to go out and put yourself out there, and you're going to find your tribe. You're going to find your people. You guys found your way to me, but it wasn't because I gave up. I never gave up, guys. Every single day for months, I went live every single day with video. I don't have to do that anymore, but I think you guys do. I think you just have to put more stuff out there. Frequency, intensity, purpose, FIP. I'll see you guys in the next video.